Okay, utilize apps that we may be able to develop. Some of you may want to deploy your app on your iPhone. It is possible. You don't have to pay $99. Till recent days, you have to subscribe the membership so that they can allow you to, they can give you a key so that using the key you can uh, deploy your apps on your iPhone so that you can do it. But now you don't need to do. So I developed two apps. Let's see if I can show that too. Okay, what I'm going to do, um, this is also available on your Blackboard. Um, there are online libraries available. I'm going to, I think it's more than this, but I'm going to update uh, the next time also. So anytime if you need to see the description about the Swift languages, there is the website available. This is one of those that you can see. See here, index HTML. So from there you can uh, access some. Let's try to do together. For example, if you open up a new tab, and then there is a some of the classes are listed so that you can see further. For example, NS error, then you can see all the information about that class. So, so that is, I think, one maybe useful for you to follow. Another thing here, before we get to this slide, we will come back to this slide. When you develop, and if you deploy your apps on your real device, then real device, unless otherwise, it has only the icon of the app looks like uh, looks like, for example, yeah, well, this is attempt to, this is the homework. Oh, build your device cannot. Okay, this is homework assignments. What happens is here is that if you want to build this on your real device, um, here is the steps that you need to do. Select on the top menu, active scheme to your device and run. What happens here is that here this is active scheme. See here, active scheme, and then you need to change it. By default, I think right now iPhone 6 or iPhone 6s Plus. But if you bring this all the way up, then you can see your device if your device is linked. So through your USB connector, let me try that to show to you. So if I connect the USB to my iPhone, forget about this. Then you can see here Jae Yoon's iPhone. Choose your real device and then click on the run button. From that time, then that apps is deployed on your uh, smartphone and run. This is a thing, right? Um, but when I do demo here, and students, online students cannot see it. You don't see it on my screen. But let me do it here for those who you can see. For example, if I type here www dot let's say Mercy or MIT dot edu, and then it should run well. The homework, enter your name so that I can put my name here. Let's say I'll change my name, James. Okay, and then MIT that, and then there is no button. But when I do here hit enter, so MIT some errors. It's not really it's a connection error.
Security as well. Clear test HTTP.
No, it's not. Yeah, Princeton uh, came up to here. So that it takes my name and then right here on the bottom, hold the URL. So URL welcomes dear James, the bottom, and on top I have two text fields, and in the middle I have a web view so that it can show to you. When I disconnect this, if I want to run it, then I need to choose one of the device, virtual device, and then if I do run, then you could see it's now initialized, and I can say reopen. So by default right now, apple.com is written there. Uh, what I'm trying to say to you here, I'm going to close this. When I see here, uh, this is icon, right? This is a temp2 that I made here, temp2. This is icon. Icon is created right now, right? Not familiar with is this? Okay. How can I? It's nothing to do with this. When I run something else, let's see, connected that, and let me open other um, simple. I think this is the one that we looked at previously, right? So if I run this on iPhone 4S, in this case, why it is initialized every time? Okay, here is the thing. This is by default. If I don't do any icon assigned, then this is the given icon. This is by default. So how can I give my icon into here so that the way that I show to you, somehow this is not functioning the way that I used to do. I do not know why. The temp to, okay, here. When I run this, see why it runs again and again and again. So when I close this, oh, okay, here. Oh, this is strange. Why the previous one was disappeared? It should be on. Oh, no. Okay. It's very hard. I think should have all the programs that I run. But why disappeared? Let me bring one more. See what happens. Another code. Um, okay. Yeah, force the echo. This is the simple one that we tried it the first time, right? Okay, let me click this. Something changed. I do not know why it has been changed. Okay, so that I can stop this. Now I can see some. I have some of the defaults apps that I developed, and then I have temp2, which is uh, what I ask you to do. um, Back to our lecture note. To utilize your apps, today I'm going to bring up two issues. The first issue is how can you run your apps on your real device, um, and you can choose your device from here, right? If you have your iPhone connected to your um, Mac or you are developing the PC, then it appears here. So you can choose it. Still, there may be some issue. Then what you need to do is you need to go back to your while it is on your device. There is a settings, general, and device management. There you need to click on verification button so that your uh, PC or MacBook trust it's a mutual trust trust iPhone so that apps that you develop can be deployed on your real device. Okay, that's what I uh, want to introduce to you. This is the first utilization of your apps. And once it is on your apps, then since it is the icon of your app is very ugly, meaning you may want to design your own app so that you can identify it. How can we do it? Um, design designing the icon is not the issue that we are going to do, right? Once you design it, how can you uh, make it available on your uh, developments? Here is what I did. Because I do not have any designing tools, what I did was I did that on my, let's see, I have a PowerPoint slide. Where is my PowerPoint slide? There's no PowerPoint slide here, right? Oh yeah, here. This is icon.ppt. Okay. This is the icon that I made. Okay. Remember that I made two apps. I call it Yank, and I set up my company. Company name is Unext. There's no one picked up this, so if I am available, then I'm going to buy this. I'm going to register this uh, name. This means to me, that's my last name, and ex is extra, right? So my extra work, or you can say you next. So it's like future, right? Or whatever you can interpret. That is what I want to do. This is my company, and this is the name of the program, Yank. But I put Y only here and ANK. It's one word, Yank. And the other version is Yank 2. Yank 2 works a lot more intelligent. Yank, that is the first program, first homework assignments that you could have all Yank eventually. And Yank 2, um, yeah, if we have a chance, then I think I can introduce to you how it gives you so much various technologies if you are interested in. Over the internet, there is a API servers, few good API servers available, which can provide you the data in JSON format, JSON format. JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. The data that can be delivered to you in a simple formats, that is a standardized formats, so that you can, if you know how to read, then you can program it. The useful apps that I've found include the following. For example, weather APIs. If you send the city name, then it gives you all kinds of weather information. Current, right now, it's real time. It gives you humidity, temperature, and also geocode, longitude, latitude and longitude, and also some of the logos gives to you. Another possible apps that can deliver the data to you in JSON is financial data. So if you use that, then it gives you a lot of detailed data available. That is real time, real tick. Stock ticker data. It's not just data, for example, high price, low price, and open price, close price. It's not that static data. It's a real data. Okay. If you request that every seconds, that it gives you every seconds data. That is the financial data APIs. That is also possible. Another thing that I made on this Yank 2 was if you provide a URL, then that API gives you all the information about that URL and the web server information. So it gives you the city. When I tested some of my program, I don't have that here anymore. I do not know why. But anyway, so what happens is that I'm going to get back to you. Okay, so you can make you can design whatever you want, and then you can save this in a picture format that I saved was in PNG. Okay, and save it. I think I saved it somewhere here, course, and then I have JY app1.png, yank app1.png, and then I have one more recent one here, yank app2.png. So I saved it, and then once I have that, then see, I need to go to makeappicon.com. This is if you upload yours. Why I cannot use that icon that I made in PNG format plugged into my apps. Reason for that is usually it is too big, and there is a very restrictedly standardized the icons. Only the standardized icons are accepted by app. For example, apps usually can be stored
I don't need this. I'm going to, yeah, for example, this. It is saved in this directory. If you click, see here, if you click assets dot xc assets, this is the folder. If you click this, then there is a app icon folder. It's not app. It's not appl-con. It's app capital app icon I capital, so that it looks like Apple con. It's not Apple con. App icon. If you click that, then I already posted it, right? If you read this very carefully, what it shows to you, you have to fill all 6 slots. iPhone spotlight and settings, iOS 5, 6 or 5 through 9, and they're all different kinds. And then there is a number of pixels, 29 pixel, 40 pixel, and 60 pixels. Any one of you can produce icon that has that specific exact number of pixels. Then you don't need to generate from that the website. You could do it manually. I tried manually, but I cannot. I gave up, and I found out that website, and it gives any size of the images that I made. Not any size, some size. I mean reasonable size. When I make a small size of icon I'm using PowerPoint slides, the pixel number is about 800 times 800, which is a lot bigger than that. So almost impossible to make icon in, for example, 29 pixel. Can you imagine that? 29 pixel? 29 dots, so that you can make one icon. Almost impossible, right? If you do it manually. So what you need to do is that you need to go to this website. Let me show it to you. And here, it's very handy. So if you click this, so that you can choose one. Say if you have Yank 2, then say this is something that this looks a lot better than the icon that I can see from my real device. But anyway, if you click this and choose, then you don't have to do this. You could, but I didn't do. Then it like toast, right? It can toast it. And finally, it says well done, and then ask you to enter your email address. If you want to receive those, you can receive so many different kinds of icons based upon the file that you uploaded. The file that you finally receives, I have that on my here, for example. This is the one that I received. Then it gives you 3 different kinds. When I click here iOS, then I have this, but do not use this because this is PNG, and the size of this is not something that your iPhone apps requires. If you click this app icon, another folder, then you can see here 40 pixel times 2 times 3, 76, and then very small ones. This is the one that I used for 29 pixel, times 2 and times 3, and 60 pixels times 2 and times 3. Those are really what your app requires. For example, times 2 and 3 times, 2 times, and depending upon the pixel, 29, 40, and 60, those are available here. 40 and 60 and different kinds of multiplications, right? So what you need to do is you simply drag and drop. Then it goes in that. Therefore, when you simulate your app, you do not have any error. If there is anything mismatched, because of this, your app is not running. There is something that I do not like. Why it is not running? Only because of that the size of that icons. But anyway, that is what uh, uh, the behaves currently. Okay. So those two things that I want you to practice once you have your own app ready to view, so that you can see yours on your iPhone, real iPhone. Question?
Hey, Professor. So, with that website, netapp.com, you can create your own app, right?
No, only icon.
For app.
Icon only. So once you create, then put it on your real iPhone. There's no icon, no logo. So you want to make your own logo, and how can you register your own logo? I mean, how can you stick logo to your program so that everyone else can use this icon logo producer?
Oh, so not an app itself.
Apps that requires a lot of labor and your intellectual properties. Right?
Professor, do you have to upload? Just want to clarify. When you upload the icon, does it have to be fairly small?
I didn't try. Yeah, very small. The size wise, very small
To upload
to upload,
fairly.
and the size of the logos your iPhone can accept is much smaller than the size that you initially created. The size I made it, try to make it small, was still very big. When I converted that to PNG file, as I said, 800 by 800, I made it very small ones, and it was accepted by that website, and it produces that many small icons. All can be fitting into their requirements. If you make it big, I'm not sure. I didn't try. Probably not, right? Okay. Another thing that I mean, the real topic for today. To motivate you, I'm going to show my code that I developed. Hopefully this gives you some motivations. The one that I made here is yank to yank web. That's what I mean by that. But I didn't. Okay, this is the one, right? If you see here, so far what we did here, what we made so far, we have only one view, right? But right now I have more than one. I have here views and they are connected. Eventually I'm going to
have a lot more than this. When I run this, then I need to change this because I do not want to make it on my iPhone, but emulator. So I'm going to run it. This is an extension from your homework assignment 1. Here I have only one URL. I have a keyword, one of the button, and I have city and the weather info and temperature and description. And I can put here any website. Okay, for example, www.amazon.com and enter. Then go to Amazon.com. And then Amazon is, I think, somewhere in Ashburn. The city is called Ashburn. Currently, the temperature there is negative 0.350999 Celsius. That's a temperature. And then description of that temperature is a clear sky. Those are not something that I created, but received from the API, Weather API. Weather API takes the city name, but I didn't do anything about the city here, right? I put simply Amazon.com. Then one of the APIs that I used, that API takes the URL, then that API gives you information about the developer. Usually big companies and big universities, the web pages are developed and managed by that organization by itself, right? For example, therefore, if I put here cornell.edu, then of course it is, Cornell is a big university, so they probably develop their web page by themselves. Come on. Okay. So this is Cornell University's websites, and there's Ithaca, right? And then temperature is negative 6 Celsius, which is about I think 20 degrees, right? It's a clear sky right now. You can get anything. For example, CMU, Carnegie Mellon, then it should be Pittsburgh somewhere, right? Carnegie Mellon, Pittsburgh, and scattered clouds, maybe, right? There's a Carnegie Mellon. Unfortunately, if we put here Mercy, then Mercy web page is not developed by Mercy team, but some company, I don't know, company in Melbourne. Some of the small colleges and universities is doing that. Pace universities, till 2 or 3 years ago, they used the same the company that we use, but I think they now change. Yeah, they have their own Briarcliff, so they are taking off. This is the thing that I did. I'm going to put this Briarcliff Manor into this city, and when I click this city, then it goes to the next page, and then I didn't do it. So today's lesson is that how can, and that is very typical, right? The apps has more than one view, meaning it has more than one screen, right? So if you click, then it goes to next screen, and then it can come back, right? See here, it can come back. So weather details, when I click this, it can come back to my previous, right? And what I'm going to do here, the keyword, if I click this keyword, then the search words, so that I want to do, here's the websites, web pages. Can I search keyword uh, against that web page? For example, can I find this Mercy College from Pace Universities? I didn't implement that, but see here, then I can see it on Mercy College, right? Anyway, so a lot more things can be done on your apps. This is something that I like. This is uh, it's not just producing the apps standalone, but having a lot of interaction, APIs, right? By having this URL, I can capture the city of the developers, and then from the city name, I can apply to another APIs from the weather, and probably from some keyword. If it is related with some companies, then I can go to that financial data. Okay. If it is, as I said, Facebook.com, then it's Facebook. When I click this, then it goes to the financial sector and gives you stock price. Okay, by clicking this, so that I can put. This is not clickable right now, but if I click this, then it goes to the next page and gives you the financial information about that. Yes, something like that. Okay. Not much that I need to save data on my app, but a lot of interaction externally. Interaction is very handy by using JSON data format. Okay. So today's lesson is that how can we make how can you make multiple views? Save, and I'm going to question.
The APIs, I assume there should be a lot of APIs, right?
Mhm.
Depending on what you want to do. Where do you get those, the APIs?
Oh, you need to find out from the Google.
So I have to go
Yeah,
down-
I just search the Google. The way that I make, I can give you some hints. This is the way that I did, and there's no one, there's no Bibles, right? You need to find out. API, for example, weather. Okay, and not simply API weather, but you need to say API weather and JSON, JSON. It's more clear, so that you can see current weather API open. See here, there's a keyword JSON. This API gives you the data in JSON format, XML, and HTML formats. XML and HTML format may be useful if you have the web server itself, but it's not good for your iPhone apps. iPhone it's not really web-based. Web, WB. It's not web-based. It is app-based, right? Apps.
It's application program based. So should be something. By having CD name or by CD ID and geographical coordinates, it gives you JSON. This is a JSON. Let me. How can I make it bigger? Yeah. This is within curly brace. Here, curly brace. There's a coordinates, and there's a longitude code and latitude code, and there is a weather, and main. It shows clear. This is something that here's description. This is a description that I used. For example, clear sky. I didn't do anything but use it on my apps. And then temperature. Temperature is 271.224. What does that mean? This is a Kelvin degree. So you need to convert that to Celsius. Kelvin can be converted to Celsius very easily, right? I think you need to subtract 273 point some, right? I forgot, but I used that, right? Once you convert this Kelvin degree to Celsius, then you can convert back to Fahrenheit very easily. There's some formula, right? It's all coding, right? But the data can be given. So pressure, it's the air pressure, and humidity, and some others. But how can we understand this? Let me copy this, and I'm going to give it to you another JSON view. Online.org, jsonviewonline.org. If you do not interpret that JSON form, then you can come to this website. Is it correct website? JSON view online. Probably not, right? Google it. Google, and then you can JSON view online. JSON editor online. This is good. JSON editor online. Okay. So on the left-hand side, you can copy it. This is the thing that we looked at, right? And if you convert that to that structural format, then there is a main. For example, in main, there's a temperature, pressure, and that wind information. If you click that, then there is a speed 351, and this JSON format, JSON data in JSON format, all coding, right? Curly braces, some square bracket, like an array. This is very similar to the Python. Remember the Python? This curly brace means what? Dictionary, right? And then square, list, right? So square, the dictionary has coordinate, colon. This whole thing is a value for that coordinate, right? Coordinate, what is the value for coordinates? That's a dictionary, right? It gives you another dictionary. Coordinate consists of latitude and longitude. And then weather here, for example, Maine. Maine weather, everything is weather. Weather here gives me the square bracket from here somewhere, right? Square bracket. The value itself is a square bracket. How can you open square bracket? If you have a multiple square bracket, then by index, 0, 1, 2, 3. If you want to access the first square bracket, then 0. Put 0 in your coding. Then you can see this, right? That is something you can find out. If we have time, then we can cover that, but it's not really directly related to iPhone itself. Let's see. Our next module is, I simply downloaded it, right? Is advanced. Okay, this is something that we need to. I'm not going to put the present mode to this, but simply use it in this PowerPoint slide mode itself so that I can come back to the code quickly. Okay, advanced. What I want to do here is this. What if we need two views? Two views with the two controllers to send the data back and forth. Okay. So that, let's say this is the first view. So when you turn on your applications, then this is the first view. Say, because it says enter your name, so that we can put my enter and then send me. So it sends me to the second page. Then in the second page, this data that entered, delivered to the second page and place it. And then there is another button and back home. Then it come back here, back and forth. How can you make it? To do that, there's many ways, but I'm going to give to you the easiest and best way today. But before we do practice, here is something that you need to know. Create multiple view controller. So each view needs is a control of file. Remember that in our here, if we have one storyboard, right? This storyboard has the view controller. It is said the view controller. View controller dot Swift is can be seen in your navigation pane, right? See here, view controller dot Swift. That is assigned here, right? If you have another, this is only one case. But if you have another, let me close this. Do I have another? This is this old one. Do I have any other? Oh, yeah, here. I have another. So this view, if you click here, utility pane, this is attribute inspector, but one before that is identity inspector. If you click that, then it can show to you the class, the controller class assigned to, or controller class that controls this view. If you have another view here, then it has another controller. The controller, the file controlling
this view is called weather view controller. So those two views, for example, appears here. We have a view controller and weather view controller. If you see here view controller and weather view controller, they look very similar. See here, this is given initially, right? By default. I didn't do much about that. If you have a multiple view like this here, then you can see here two views together, which means if I go back to the storyboard and bring this back, then I can see here yank web and more scene, another scene here, weather detail scene, another scene here, navigation control scene, which means I have 3 scenes appear in this storyboard. Therefore, I have 3 scenes. Each one has its own controller. Programming labor is so light. It looks like so complicated when I explain this, right? But don't worry about it. Everything is generated. It's very handy. Back to the slide. So when you here, if you have a button and text fields and 2 views, then what you need to do is that button. So link from a button in view controller 1 to view controller 2, so that it should have some segue. So we call that action segues. And then you click those. When you connect them, there's a multiple options possible, but the very basic option that you can connect 2 views, 2 scenes is simply show. So action segue is, in that case, show. We'll practice that. So that's what we did. So we have 2 scenes, 2 views. The first view, first scene, automatically there is a controller.swift, right? View controller.swift is given. Only the first one is given. From the second one, you have to create the Swift files, which is a controller. You have to manually create it. From that point, you should not expect much from Steve Jobs, right? If he's still alive, I think he made it more convenient, but he left. So that is where we are. And so some cases you might have these many the windows, these many panes, right, in one window. So utility, and this is one of the controllers that is related to one of the view here, and then there is another the structure of that views, and then there is a navigation, right? You can open and close, hide and close, open and hide, any one of those. Here's an idea. When you send the data back and forth, this is a key issue. See, we have 2 different view controller. This is the view controller that's Swift. This is view2 controller.shift. This is another controller. So this controller is the given controller. This is a given controller for the given view, first scene. This is the second scene, which is switched from the first. Therefore, it has its own controller.swift. If you look at the code, in the given controller, given storyboard, we have one text field. So we add enter. So enter your name. And then name should appear here. If I click the button, right? So button is not shown here, but anyway, it's okay with no button, but the data transferring is done by this function. Function name is prepare for segue. Prepare for segue. This is the function. In this prepare for segue function, we have only 2 lines of code. The first line, well, actually we can make one single line, but split into 2. Created variable. Well, actually, it's not really variable in this case. We call it let. If it is a variable, we call var. If it is a constant, we call it let in Swift language. It's very clear cut, right? So this is nothing but a variable. Variable of what type? View to controller. This is the variable, but this is you can say this is a reference. This is an object reference. Object reference of what type? Second view. So some reference to the second view appears here in the first view. That makes sense, right? Therefore, first view and second view can talk each other. So this is the reference to the second view. What it has here is a segue.destination view controller. This reference is nothing but the destination view controller. That destination view controller has the label text. Label text is nothing but that we created in the second view. We use the exact same name, label text, which is declared in the second view, but that is directly used in the first view with no error. How come it is possible? Because we defined already as a constant. This is a reference to the second view. So this guy already knows the second view where there is a variable. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to assign the value that I read from my text field. See here, TF4 user name, which is the text field. Whatever I can read from my text field is assigned to the second view's variable. That
that variable is now written into the label in the second view. Therefore, it can be written in the second view. So logically, in straightforward manner, they are linked in this function, prepare for segue function. In this prepare for segue function, whatever that I can read, my scene is assigned to the variable in the other scene, and in the other scene, then that is written into that label, this label, so that it can appear there. It's very clear. If you understand this, there's no magic. Of course, coding, there's no magic, right? If you don't do it, it's not going to work, right? Clear? I hope you understand this way. So next one is, once you go back here, the second view, how can you come back the first view? Then you need to have another link. Therefore, every time when I, from one view and another view and then come back, then I need to, this kind of code all the time, a lot of hassle. Therefore, iPhone has some mechanism, provides some mechanisms. So to deal with multiple views, we could have a navigation controller or UI tap bar controller, tap. There's a multiple taps, so that if you click then there is a second page. If you click another tab, then another page. Another web page. Some web pages has that features, right? Some web pages goes to the next view only by clicking some components, right? Some apps has the tabs, so it goes to another only by doing that. Well, actually there are three kinds, but today we will do only here navigation views. Using the navigation views, I can go back and forth and back and forth. Okay. To make it, this is the steps that you have to be aware. On the main.storyboard, once you create a, well, first scene is given, right? So in the first scene, to the first scene, you have to embed navigation controller view. From that time, that navigation controller view can understand all the structures, path to navigation, path for navigation. Once you have this navigation controller, then you can add more view controller, and more. This is a view only in this storyboard. Then at the same time, you need to have a programs, which is a view controller .swift programs. Initially, view controller .swift program is given, but from the second scene, it is not given, but you have to create it. That's what I'm talking about here. Create Swift files. And then you can copy two functions, because those two functions are common. And then the first view, second views, you need to connect. So which one goes to where? And basically,
that's what we are going to do. Okay, so we need to practice. Ready? So a little bit of practice, then we will take a break, start our practice, and take a break and come back to complete. Open up your Xcode. It's new project. Start with a single view. Click on next, and then you name it, product name. So I can say multi-view EX, multivex. Oh, it's not bad. Company name is a Unext. I think it should be Unext from this time. And then language in Swift, device, iPhone. I don't do anything, but click on next. This is the location where I want to save my file. So create it. This deployment target is important if you want to deploy your app on a real device. Depending upon your real device, the current development target version is 9.3. My device is not that, so I have always the error, the first time error. Then you need to change it to some other lower levels. That's fine. But for this development, you don't need to change, right? And also this orientation, upside down is not clicked, right? So if I upside down my app that I deployed, that's not accordingly changes. But if you want to do, then you can click them. There's no harm at all. But anyway, this is default. The first thing that you need to play with is the main dot storyboard. So main dot storyboard. I'm going to. Initially, it is very. It occupies all, right? Very big. So if you do not want that, then you can make it a slim line, so that you can see more clearly. Right? We're now trying to practice multiple views, right? There are three ways that you could do, but in this class we are going to practice by using navigation view, navigation control, right? So having this, what you need to do is go to editor, and there is a embedded in navigation controller. So you have to click that navigation controller. Click that. Then automatically you have navigation controller, and then you have this view controller. Right? You can switch this, close it so that we can see side by side. And now you can bring more here. Okay. Therefore, we have three. Well, actually, the first two are linked. This app enters into this navigation controller view, it directly connected to this view controller. This is the first page that we can play with. From this, if you want to go to next, then simply holding down control and move to, let's see, I think we need to, do I need to have, yeah, maybe we need to have one item there. It's not. So we simply make a button, then bring that button here, center, so that I can say, I can click this, rename it, or come back here, I cannot type it, then when this was picked, this is picked, then come back here to attribute inspector, then button title is now is simply button, so that I can change it to go to another view. Then if I make it bigger, then it alternative. Click here, then I can also name of that the first view title. If I want to do, then I can say welcome to Yoon's app. Then that is here, right? That's the first page.
Where did you click to get to the navigation? Go to Yoon's app?
On the top here, right? Then there's an attribute inspector. Use the attribute inspector. And now click that button and holding down control, drag and drop to the next view. Then it shows segue, action segue. What are you going to do? Are you going to do show or show detail, present modelly, present as popover, custom, but we simply choose to show so that you can see some of the segue here, right? And now that you can see here, that is a title box, right? So click here so that you can see click. Oh, right, it's not simply clicked, so that you need to choose, I think, view item. Item tab, navigation item, I think navigation item. So click that navigation item on top so that you can have the title. So I can say here from you. And I can say also back button, back to you. Right? Now we can see how it runs. Okay, simply Try to run it. Reopen. This is the view. It says welcome to Yoon's app. Go to another view, click that, then it goes from Yoon, and then there is a back button. So if I click this and then go back to the first, go to the second, back to first. We didn't send any data back and forth, but that's next step. Okay. So by doing this, you may create additional views and views. One view for map, another view for weather, another view for something else, and then come back to the first scene. That is possible. Okay. Any comments? Any questions? Okay, then we'll take a 15-minute break.
Can we got the code? Is there a code for that?
Everything's posted.
That all, that generates the code, doing all that coding. It generates it for you.
Oh, what do we? Okay, let me minimize this a little bit and. Right now, this view has the class view controller.swift, right? But this has nothing. No view controller, no coding. Right, Stuart? This is something that you are looking for, right?
Yeah, I was just looking.
So there's no coding. So we have to create it. How? So many ways. You can, in this navigation pane, the lower left corner, there is a add a new file. You can click this. Or you can come up here. Oops. This is not what we want, right? Right here. Right. Yeah. Here on top, file and new and file. And automatically it is a Swift file. And click next. And file name is the file name similar to the view controller.swift. So what you need to do is view to controller.swift, but we chose this for Swift programming, so we do not have to write the extension Swift, I guess. See here, it says a Swift file. So simply create. Then you can see, yeah, view to controller.swift here, right? So you can push this a little bit, this Swift to next to that view controller. Simply push it up. So two controller files back to back. And the next storyboard. So this is the second view. So when I click this and come back here, there's no class. But when I click this, then you can see, what did I say? View 2. Oh, it's not shown yet. View 2. Why it is not shown? So we need to wait. It should be. I think it takes time. I do not know why. View 2. Okay. Well, anyway, then we need to go back to the view 2 controller here. Right now, there's no nothing, right? So the given view controller.swift, we have this. So we simply highlight it and copy it back to our. We don't need any foundation to be imported, so we can simply copy it. And one thing that we need to change here is that class name. It's not view controller, but view 2 controller. So that we can say here view 2 controller. Okay.
C.
Controller. In Swift, unlike Java, the name of this view class should be the same as the file name. It's not here in C or Swift, but should not be the same, right? If this says if there is a view controller, and this should be some other name. So there's no other reason not having the same name. Okay, now we can go back to storyboard and see if it is recognized. So back here, yes, we have now. Click that. Okay. Now we need to do create a text box, text field here. And then label. And here, and you can say this label back here, attribute inspector, and the name of that, title of that, we can change it. So message to send. I click this, then it goes to next, right? Here next we can also need to write it, right? So you can say next from the first view, and you can make another view here saying I want to write it here. When I write it, I want to make it little bit. Okay, now we have to do the code, right? Coding. So click the first view. Okay, so push a little bit here. And then upper right, there is a two triangles overlaid. Click on that so that we can bring the view controller Swift. And I do not need this, so make it a little bigger. So I have here the code and here storyboard. The thing that I am using here is this, so that I need to take the data from this to the next, right? So holding down Control, and I want to make a little more room here, and holding down Control and bring it up here. And then that is outlet, still outlet. So name for that is text field for message, TF for message, and I connect so that I have this is a variable in this type or this class. So I have that. Now I need if this is taken, then by click this, it goes to the next view, right? So in the next view, this view needs also some code. Right now, this is view 2 controller. The message that I received from the first view needs to be written here in this label, right? So what I want to do is I need to have that here, the outlet connection, and the name for that is a label to display. Disp label to disp message. LB2 disp MSG. Okay. So I have this connected to this components, graphical components is connected to the controller, Swift, and this text field is connected. Now we need to do real programming of each controller. This is a controller, right? So I'm going to make a little lower. Then I'm going to minimize this. And I'm going to use some of this, right? What I'm going to do here, rather than this, somewhere here, I think this is the file. So in order to see that, I need to make this and then a little bigger. So that I can see. Okay, this is the function that we need to create. Here, override func prepare for
segue. Second option is for that, right? Prepare for segue. So click that. And we do not need to do here. If we have a multiple segue from the first view, sometimes you want to send this data to the first view. I mean, this view on another data to another view and another view selectively. Then you need to define segue itself and then use that segue there. For example, right now this is a segue, right? So we can name that segue here. Here's storyboard segue. We can name it. For example, this is my first segue or second segue or whatever. You name it so that what it means is that if you have more than one views from this, then you need to have, you need to have a conditional statements. If this is the case, then go to that view. If segue is that, then goes to somewhere and somewhere. That's available in another slide. I'm going to point out quick and then come back. See here. This is prepare for segue. And I have here segue dot. This is a segue, right? This is variable. First variable is a segue. Segue dot identifier. If it is equals to push to, then do something. Else, some others, then do some others. Okay. If you have a multiple segues, then you can have switch statements to distribute. But in this case, we do not have, so we do not use this segue. Simply code. In the code body, we can do let and then destination control. You don't have to, I simply say dest. Dest, the type of the dest is the view to controller equals, and then here we have to do it segue. Segue is here the variable, right? Segue, that means segue. Segue has a particular function, particular field that is a destination view. So you can say destination view controller. So first item. So click that as exclamation and view to controller. And then we use that test dot and some other, but we didn't define that in the other view. So we need to go back to the other view, view 2, and we need to prepare a placeholder saying that var temp, the temporary placeholder, which is simply string. Is there something that we did? String and function, right? This is the so function. And then here in the view did load, the body of that given function, now we need to say
this label, what I want to do is that this temp should be written to this label, the label that we defined on this view. So LB to display message. But this temp is not, let's say, cannot assign the view string to okay. Let's see. Come back here. Test dot. Now it understands the temp, right? Temp is given from the text field that I know, right? So that is a text field for message. Dot text. But we put exclamation mark. Why we put exclamation mark? Exclamation mark means it is not optional, but it is optional means the text is given or not given, but when I assign this value to here, in the case it is not typed at all, then it goes to error because there's nothing assigned, but we say assign. Then it automatically, there is an error. So by having exclamation mark, it means that only if that is available, then we assign. So it is not optional, but it is fixed. That's what I mean by exclamation mark. So come back to here. Let's see why it is an error. It's not. Oh, we have to say here text dot text. Then text goes into that label dot text. Okay. So now I think it is good. See here we create temporary variable, and once it is given, then assigned to the view to label. In the original view controller, there's a text field, and if there is a value in the text field, then that is assigned to the second view's temp variable. So let's try to run it. Here we say message to send. So we can say hello Mercy cybersecurity, what is known, and click. So go to the another view and another view. Message from the first, that is hello, is not properly shown, so we have to fix it. It shows H only, right? So what we need to do is to storyboard back here, it should be bigger. Simply that. Go to greeting from the city. Your message from the first view is greeting from the city. Go back to the first, and then we can do something. Right? So simple message is send to the next view. So what we've done today is that we create another view, and therefore another view controller, and then text and the some value is transferred to, is sent to the next view, and we can come back. Right? That's what we done today. Any questions? We can go home early. Any comments?
Professor, just one. So in that way, to pass from the first page to the second one, we have to use the button for sure, right? There's no way to do like any something has.
That's what I
you
did.
click enter. You cannot click enter and go directly to the second, to the second page. There is no way to do that.
Oh, there is another way that you could do.
That
Right.
You can just click enter from
Right.
under this div.
In this case, what I did was that I linked this with that. Remember that?
Yeah.
I click this and then control. Oh, we can see this. There's another thing that you can see. Click this and then come back here. The last button show the connection inspector. So we can see the connection inspector. What happens here is there is an action. It goes to the from noon show. This is a from noon, and then action mode is a show. That's what we chose, right? So this is visited only by clicking this. That's what we designed in this case. Another thing that you need to do here, then there's I think some other statements needed. Let me show it to you.
For example, our temp 2 homework assignments. View controller. No, not this. This is not, but this, right? Here, text field should return. This is the function that I've used. Text field we have two text fields here, right?
Remember that enter your name and then URL, right?
When this is a hit return, then all the actions should be taken here. Once it is entered, then text field dots text is assigned to URL, which is this, and then do further. That's what we did.
TXT field should return is your own function or is one of
It's a given function.
It's a given function.
You choose
Okay,
that function.
one of
Yeah.
them and then set.
Similar to this is the function that you choose. You simply use it. The other one is this one. Remember this? This is the function.
Yeah. Okay.
that we simply use it. That function is known by the Swift, your apps.
So we can.
Not any other function that you name, but this is predefined. If you want to communicate between views, then you can use this function. Therefore, inside we have a segue and then sender arguments. Similar to that, if we use this, then inside we have text field. This is a given. Okay, this is a local variable for this text field. You can use this. You can rename it if you want, but that comes from UI text field. Those two UI text fields. So if you want to do some actions in response to text fields, then you need to use that method, that function. Others. Okay, then this is it for today. And next week, we probably, what else that I prepared? Okay, next week we will do another app that can use database. And after database, if we still have time, then we'll do database that we use is internal database here, which is SQLite. So communication with external sources, but that external is external to this Swift, but still in the same device. Another topic that we could do is external API website, and to receive JSON data, and then handle that JSON data. Then pretty much all the essential components is covered, right? Starting from the simple graphical user interface, and then we use some of the web and map. Remember that? And then today we create more than one views, and next week we will communicate with the database, and then following week we'll communicate with the external internet sources. Then the world of your apps is unlimited. Okay.
So will be next week? Yeah, right?
Next week, DApps,
Definitely.
right? And then the other week, after that we will come back here.
So Dr. will be on the new one, right?
Yeah, my mail hall, our department.
Which one?
So lab. There's a one lab in the center, right?
So for SQLite, we don't have to download anything. It's already
No, it's already here.
Oh,